What can you really expect if you ever land yourself a gig at SpaceX or Tesla? And what is Elon Musk like as a boss? Well, one of SpaceX's first employees reveals all after recently retiring from the company. Former SpaceX Vice President of Build and Flight Reliability, Hans Koenigsmann, decided to hang up his boots, but not before letting the world know what it's really like working for the real-life Tony Stark. Hans joined SpaceX in 2002 as the company's fourth technical employee, and for the past 19 years has helped the company grow from a mere idea to an aerospace giant that oversees several successful launches every year. He admits that Elon Musk demands a lot from his staff, and at times, this could pose a challenge, especially for employees who are not used to working under pressure. He even recalls the first time he did an interview with Elon Musk back in 2002. An enthusiastic Musk drove all the way to Koenigsmann's home because, at the time, SpaceX didn't have a head office. Musk would conduct most of the company's meetings in hotel conference rooms. Today, SpaceX has a number of offices across the country. Talk about progress. During the interview at Koenigsmann's home, Musk would occasionally dart his eyes around the room to soak in everything about it. This was a brilliant way for Musk to know what kind of employee he'd be bringing into his company. Like most of his first employers will tell you, Musk knew very little about rockets when he started SpaceX. But over time, he absorbed anything and everything about aerospace engineering from the likes of Koenigsmann and Jim Cantrell. Koenigsmann admits it was amazing to watch Musk learn. I really enjoyed working with him and learning how he sees things. He sees things from a different perspective, but it's this unique perspective that's also made Elon Musk have a very short fuse, demanding a lot from his engineers. For example, Koenigsmann remembers one scenario when Musk pushed his engineers to shorten the time it took to fuel SpaceX rockets. Musk made it very clear that he wanted the time to be reduced from 30 minutes to 8, roughly the same amount of time to empty a rocket tank. It seemed impossible for the engineers at first, but the pressure that Musk put on them forced them to think outside the box. And that's why today, SpaceX is one of the few aerospace companies that uses propellant at super low temperatures to increase its density. This allows engineers to cram more fuel into each rocket so that the rockets can be fueled much faster before launch. Koenigsmann, who was used to the pressure, admits that he never felt stressed a single day of his life working at SpaceX. Why? Because the bottom line is this: if you're passionate and committed, then working for Elon Musk is a breeze. Koenigsmann is so respected by SpaceX that upon announcing his retirement, Musk reached out to him, saying that he could return to SpaceX to see Starbase, the proposed city being constructed in Boca Chica, Texas. He will also be given an advisory role within SpaceX. But aside from Koenigsmann's perceptions of working with Elon, other former employees have also had their own opinions and experiences. Some former employees, especially the ones that worked in executive roles, actually feared him. It didn't matter whether they had all the experience in the world. When Elon Musk walked into the room, he was the boss. One former manager that worked at Tesla recalls how he was grateful that the billionaire never learned his name. Why could that be? Because if your name ever came up during a conference call, it means that Musk had spotted you for underperforming. Once your name was mentioned, it was inevitable. You'd be fired shortly after. Another talking point for Musk's former employees is his intelligence. If you thought you were smart, just know this: Musk was always 10 steps ahead of you. One former manager recalls how brainstorming ideas with Musk felt like you were in Hell's Kitchen. Musk isn't easy to please, so if he really liked your idea, then it's a given that you must have thought outside the box. The great thing about Musk is that he would immediately put your idea into action if he thought it would bring results. Another former senior level employee credits how Musk's input made him much better at his job. When he first started out, he used to disagree with Musk most of the time, but it was through these back and forths with Musk that he realized Musk was right most of the time. Overall, these disagreements made him more aware of his management skills. Today, he confidently believes that he's 10 times smarter than he was when he first joined the company. And with his newfound skills and confidence, he can foster a positive environment in the new position he holds in the current company he works for. Unlike most bosses who like to steer clear of social media, Musk thrives in this environment. Let's remind you that Musk has more than 60 million followers on Twitter. But that's not all. According to two of his former senior level employees, Musk believes so much in the power of social media that if a customer's social media post caught his attention, he would remodel his team's priorities to match the suggestion given by the customer. Here's what one of the former senior employees at Tesla had to say about Musk and his obsession with social media. What ultimately triggers him to act and make a decision is what he reads on social media. When you're in a business meeting with him, he will pivot the direction of the organization literally overnight. So manufacturing could be a problem today, and as soon as it stops being reported on social media, as soon as it stops being reported in the news, then he'll move on to whatever the news is claiming the new problem is. You might be a senior level employee at any of Musk's companies, but this doesn't mean you have the freedom to exercise your powers or make crucial decisions. In fact, 3 of Musk's former senior level employees would frequently complain about how they had very little autonomy to make final decisions that influenced the direction of the company. It was all Musk all the time. There was always one decision maker at SpaceX and Tesla, and that was the billionaire at the top. Regardless of how confident you were in your decision making, you had to go through Musk before it was approved. Some of Musk's former employees mentioned how he had very high standards, so much so that it even frustrated several of his engineers to make them walk out of their job. A former manufacturing engineer recalls how Musk was very detailed about the whole design and manufacturing process, and if he saw something that he didn't like, he would force the engineer to discard their work and start over. But sometimes, Musk would take his obsession with perfection too far. As one former Tesla engineer described, one of Tesla's models ended up increasing production costs and reducing efficiency. He declined to mention which model exactly, but eventually, the quality of the vehicle was finally at the standards that Musk expected it to be. During the interview, the former Tesla engineer would famously say, "Tesla is an engineer's paradise where the pencil is literally never down." But aside from his perfectionism, some former employees noted how Musk would set unrealistic goals. One former manager recalls how Musk would set insane targets and deadlines without a solid plan, but he would expect everyone at the company to break their backs to achieve the set goals. Musk loves to create a culture where if you didn't have a solution to a problem, or if you didn't have that problem solved in a couple of days, then you would be fired. So you had to give it your all to ensure that a problem in your department was solved. As for unrealistic targets, Musk would push his team so hard that he would even make public predictions about production targets and Tesla's financial performance, despite the fact that the company was nowhere near the original timeline of his predictions. Because Musk loves to give tight deadlines, he's heavily involved in every major project being carried out by his companies. Keep in mind that this can either be a good or bad thing. According to one of his former senior level employees, Musk was very hands-on when it comes to removing any obstacles that are slowing down a project. He would motivate the team and build momentum, but at certain times, his presence and strict demands would put the majority of his employees on edge, and that would slow down projects and affect productivity. It would get so bad that some of his employees would think of him as evil. Some even nicknamed him the Eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings. Now, that's not a very pleasant name, is it? Then again, it's all this pressure that would make his team think outside the box. One time, Musk even asked his employees what they saw when they looked at a soda can. While most of them came up with humorous jokes, Musk said that the only thing he could see with the soda can was a spaceship, especially if you increased its size. When all's said and done, you'll definitely love working with Musk because of his energy and enthusiasm, especially when he makes jokes during company meetings. He loves what he does, and if you share his dream with him, you'll have a breeze. But you also have to be prepared when he blows up during high-pressure situations. Musk is extremely detailed, and if you want to stay on his good side, make sure you get your work done on time, and always go the extra mile. With that being said, you're now ready to go begin your career with either Tesla or SpaceX. Until then, welcome to the future.